What's up everyone, Mike here from The Art of Guitar, here with another levels video. A lot of you guys have been requesting some songs and riffs, and I thought I would do an easier one first and then work my way up the next couple of weeks. We're going to release two more that I'm planning on. So the first one's going to be Paranoid by Black Sabbath. And some people think this is a super easy riff, but I've seen it played a bunch of different ways. And if you work your way up the levels, eventually you'd be kind of surprised when you get to the end. Some of you guys, if you haven't done this already, it's a lot of fun. So the first way I learned it, like I said before, I had the tribute book, the live Ozzy book with Randy Rhoads. And Randy would play Paranoid actually here on the 5th string, 7th fret. So it had a little bit of a different sound, but here's where he played it. But the way I see people interpret that sometimes when they're not really sure exactly how it goes is they play the power chord and then they pick the next couple notes. And it sounds kind of weird. It sounds like this. So the first way I alternate picked, the second way I did all downstrokes. Either way it doesn't quite sound right, does it? Okay, so that's the first level. You could play it there. It's sometimes more comfortable for people because it's at the 7th fret instead of where we're gonna be, which is a lot higher on the neck. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing. This will be level 2, except we're gonna move up to the 12th fret of the 6th string. So on the other video I talked about on Iron Man, the levels of Iron Man, that things do sound different depending on where you play them, even if they're the same note. So here's an example. If I'm here at the old level 1 and you play the power chord, sounds like that. However, if you play it here on the 6th string, 12th fret, see how it has a deeper sound to it? There's just a different feel, which is very Black Sabbath-like when it gets deeper sounding, okay? So we're going to do the same thing we did here, except move it over here, and we're going to call it level 2. Okay, then when you get a little bit better, you're going to notice that they're not picking, Tony Iommi is not picking the last 4 notes like that. He's playing one, and then he's hammering on. So you get this effect for hammer-ons. Now if you add that to the first power chord, you get this. It's a little smoother. If you know about hammer-ons versus picking, you get a smoother sound. So you could be versus, which could be a little too much attack and too much work. So that's level 3, just add the hammer-ons. Level 4 is we're going to take this first power chord and we're going to make it a little bit more dynamic. So instead of just playing the power chord like this, we're actually going to hammer on. So what you do is you take your index finger and bar it across the 6th string and the 5th string at the 12th fret. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our ring finger and hammer down, hammer on the 5th string, 14th fret. So you're going to go from A to B. We're going to go. So it creates that power chord eventually. We're going to do that 3 times, but remember, these are not slow hammer-ons. Some people go like this. It's not really like that. It's supposed to be faster. So if you add that to the mix, you get level 4. That's not bad. You can get away with that one for many years. I know I did until I learned the details. Okay, what's level 5? It always gets curious around the higher levels because you're like, what else can you add to this to make it any more authentic? Well, level 5 is going to be the same exact stuff, except at the very end, we're not going to do this. Instead, we're going to go like this. And that's very strange because you're hammering on to the 5th string, 14th fret, instead of the 14th fret of the 4th string, which is more makes more sense in this context. Instead of doing that, come back and hammer out of nowhere that B note, okay? So you end up with a more authentic sound. If you really listen to the recording, you can hear that. So now the big question is, what the heck could level 6 be? And it's kind of fun to to quiz people and say, okay, what do you think is left out of this? And some people make jokes when it comes to Tony Iommi about cutting your fingertips off and stuff, but I try not to joke about that because it's cuts a little too close to home, strikes a nerve, if you will. But the sixth level detail is actually something that makes all of this seem really easy, and it's something I didn't notice till fairly recently. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do exactly what we did last time, except we're never going to move our index finger. So we're actually going to bar across the 6th string, 5th string, and the 4th string, which seems a little bit crazy. But if you watch Tony's left hand when he's playing, actually the other way, right hand, because he plays the other way, what you're going to notice is his first finger does not move. Like watch mine when I do the level 5. So his fretting hand actually doesn't move. So you end up with this. Okay, so a lot of people ask, how do you play all those notes while barring and not have a bunch of notes just ringing out? Because it's easy to have this happen. It just gets too noisy. So you have to be really good at rolling your index finger, even if it's just the slightest bit. If you do that, you can avoid a lot of the notes ringing out together and you get this. It's very slight, but it does help. Another thing I tend to do is touch the 6th string just slightly as I'm picking the 5th string. So after the first power chords. Might not have noticed what I just did, but I did a simultaneous palm mute while I picked. So you see when you get down to the details, things get microscopically difficult, which are really hard to practice and really hard to master, but that's what makes them great. Some people say, why would you want to go that detailed? Why do you want to be exactly like Tony when you play? And I always say, because that's where the magic is, in my opinion. Yes, you could play it any way you want. Randy Rhoads did. But sometimes it's fun to go deep and really find out what the recipe is for the magic. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. We have a couple more of these level videos coming out very soon, so keep an eye out for that. But see if you can master Paranoid. All right, see ya.